Hello students. Today we're talking about props and story enhancers. And I know that you'll be reading some articles which will give you some ideas and some guidelines for using props in your storytelling. But I thought how much fun would be if we could just jump into my storytelling prop box and I could just explain to you and show you some of the props and enhancers that I've used over the years. I thought it might give you some ideas for you to use them in your own storytelling. So let's start with, as you can see, my hat. I tell a little story called La Cucaracha Martina, and it's a Caribbean folktale. And in it, there is a cockroach who goes on a journey to find the person, the animal, whomever is making the beautiful noise. And so she dresses up and she goes out into the world. And it's fun to actually go through the motions of dressing up in this story. I told this primarily for younger students, and they loved this process. I would bring my little purse that the La Cucaracha Martina carried around, and we would put on lipstick. And when I do this in a class, I actually take it out, put it on my face, and powder, and then brush through my hair, and then I say, "Oh, La Cucaracha Martina!" And then she walked around out into the world to talk to other animals. The cricket is the one that makes the beautiful noise, and so I would use these sound effects and sound of a cricket that I would just turn on my CD player. An MP3 player would be much better now, but you turn it on and turn it off, and she would listen for the sound. And that was always a really big hit with kids. And the reason I used the dressing up is in the story, this very feminine quality of the cockroach was important. And so the students really seemed to enjoy and giggle about Martina getting dressed up. Another story that I love using props and would not be the same story at all if I didn't have them is a story called I'm Topingi, and it is a Haitian folktale from this book, The Magic Orange Tree. And in this story, a little girl changes clothes throughout the story. She changes to different colored dresses and brings friends of hers with different colored dresses to try to fool kind of an ogre from the woods. Well, I couldn't change my dress in these stories, so what I did is I made it a story about scarves. And I found the unintended consequences that we could do fun things with the scarves and, throw them in the air and let them drop back down on the audience. So I used a purple, a black, and a red scarf for that. And that story is a scream. So if you can get a hold of it, you might enjoy telling that one. I often would tell a story for the very young with Beanie Babies or little stuffed animals. I found that they enjoy going home and using their stuffed animals to tell stories as well. And what I would say is that you can use any of your stuffed animals you want to. You just change the characters to match your animals. And I found that this would get some of the younger children going on telling stories themselves. I use music quite a bit in my storytelling. The Pied Piper of Hamelin was a fun story to tell, and I would play my flute. Now, I also would dance a jig, but I found I couldn't play my flute and dance a jig at the same time. It's just a coordination problem. So I would play my flute and then I would stop and I would dance the jig, and the kids really didn't mind at all. But and if you have some sort of a musical talent, don't worry if it's not a perfect performance. Students don't mind. They just enjoy hearing and seeing the different enhancements that we can do. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't show this last prop that I used often, and that is it's a candle. When I would tell a little bit of scary stories to my upper grade students, I would light a candle. I found, though, I needed a tray to put it on because I would get so involved in the story, I wouldn't notice when the wax would build up and start to overflow. So just some ideas for storytelling props and enhancements. I hope this is getting your creative juices going as you plan for your storytelling project with props. Have a great day.